I mean, I think that because, in collegiate sports, like we got to do all these speeches and we got to talk to all of these, fans and boosters and, so it like prepared us for a lot of the stuff in the real world as far as like, okay, when I go do an interview, like I know how to conduct myself. I know how to talk. I know I got to be on time because it's a consequence for everything, So I do feel like basketball prepared me a lot, but like just for a lot of things in life, but
Yeah.
not, just working. No, it's just
94, 94, it is more than 94. It's more than 94. Yeah, it's more than 94. 90, more than 94. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of More Than 94, where former athletes redefine success. Today we have Megan Lewis from St. Louis, Missouri, and an Arkansas State alumni, and my former teammate. What's up, Megan? Go ahead,
what's
Megan. I'm going to
good.
call you Megan. Mego.
What's good? Thanks for having me. Either or, I know people be like, "Which you want me to call you?" I'm like, either or.
All I know is Mego. So basically, I just what we just talked about, but we just talking about life after sports, making that transition, um, going professional in something other than basketball after college sports. So first question is, how did you even get started? Because I don't even know. How did you even get started playing basketball? Like, take us kind of through the steps of how you got started.
Man, so one day I was like about 8 years old. It was my first time going to Six Flags. My first time even seeing a basketball hoop and a basketball. So I'm up there with my family, and like at Six Flags, they got the big tall goals or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just standing there with my cousins watching all these grown men shoot the ball, and nobody was making it. So I'm just looking at my cousin. He's like, "You want to shoot?" I was like, "All right." So he gave me the ball. I'm 8 years old. Everybody else is grown. I'm the only person who made it. So he was like, "Tomorrow, I'm putting you in basketball." And tomorrow, I played basketball from that moment for the next 16 years.
Yeah. That's
And that was
wild.
just, yeah, that was just what it was. So like I just started out like I used to play with like the guys in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I only played with boys up until like probably like AAU really.
Yeah.
No, even after no, because I was still playing with them. So I want to say, I mean, a grade probably eighth, maybe like seventh, eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that's it. I just started out like just that's how I started playing basketball. And I just would play in my neighborhood, and then I just played every day since then.
Yeah. So at what point did you just like, oh, I'm good enough to go, play college basketball? Like, what moment was that?
um, So, I mean, I would say really by the time I was like 12 or 13, I knew that I was really good. But like, I still never had any like plans to go to college. Like,
Yeah.
not because I didn't, like, I knew I was good, but I
Thought
just didn't
about.
see college in my future. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so, I would say like, so by the time I got to high school, I was really already burnt out from Like I didn't want to play basketball anymore. But my
Oh.
grandma made me. My grandma told me like, no, you playing basketball. So I had to play. I didn't have a choice. So, so I mean the same thing with college. Like once I just started getting like offers and like, going on visits with my cousin and like stuff like that,
Yeah.
then my grandma was just like, you don't have a choice. You got to go.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, I don't regret it, because it took me really far in life. I learned a lot, met a lot of people, got to travel the world. So like, I don't regret it, but like, it wasn't my passion. I was just happened to be good at it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That was,
And hey,
yeah,
let's be honest. Like same
yeah,
thing.
like
Like
it's just,
we
I would
played, but
say
like I didn't was like I was just playing just to be playing.
that's it. It was just like, I just had like, just my child. It was just kind of a rough childhood and stuff. So it was just really just something to just get out the house and do. So it was fun. It was fun like while I was a kid. But I'd say like probably by like high school, like I didn't want to play, but like I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a
Your
choice.
girl was like, "You
So,
gonna get out there? You need to stay out of
you
trouble."
playing basketball, so yeah.
Yeah. So how did you? Obviously, basketball paid for your education in college.
Mhm.
So how did you kind of get over that? Like, even though you necessarily didn't want to be necessarily in college playing basketball, but
I mean, I didn't have.
you
It was
just
either
toughed it
that
out.
or right. I mean, I didn't have a choice. My grandma said you going to college and you playing basketball. So I couldn't say like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like
Yeah.
I would. That wasn't even an option. You know what I'm saying? So and like I said, it wasn't like I mean, I could pretty much adapt anywhere, so it wasn't a hard thing. And plus I had been doing it at that point for over a decade anyway.
Right.
So, it was just a nothing major, but it was just like, man, like I just never had any goals or any plan at that age. I just didn't have any goals. So I'm like, college. I'm like, why would I go to college? Why would I play basketball in college? And they're like, because you're good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I guess so. But it all worked out, it all worked out in the end. So
It worked out. Yeah. And it worked out.
yeah.
Um so so now that you like transition, right? So we play college and all of that.
Mhm.
How was the transition? Because I feel like even myself and the other people other athletes I've interviewed, like we have like a little bit of a struggle, transitioning from your life
Yeah,
being planned for 4 years or 5 years for me, because I was in that thing for 5 years. Your life being planned out every
for
single
real.
day almost, to now you transition and you're a whole adult and you got to do it all by yourself. So can you kind of like talk about that transition from when your last day in college and you got to go be a whole adult?
Man, it was like crazy because it's just like, okay, like what do I do? Like what do I do from here?
Yeah,
Because like you meet other people that maybe didn't play sports in college, so they're like working and stuff like so it's just like just applying for jobs, like everything, everybody looking at you crazy, like you don't have no work experience, you don't like why what I'm gonna hire you for. So it's a huge adjustment. It's
yeah,
a huge adjustment, but I kind of feel like it could have been on me. Maybe I just didn't take all the proper steps when I was in college to
yeah,
when I got out to set myself up, what I'm saying? At the same time, it wasn't nobody just chasing you down like, hey, let me help you figure this out. So it is a big adjustment, especially if you don't have like a big support system and stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, you just kind of got to I just basically just had to just keep on finding my way. You're going to get a lot of no's, a lot of like, you don't got no experience. So, it was rough for a while. It was rough for a while because it's like, okay, how am I going to get the experience if nobody don't hire me?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That
So
part.
it is, yeah, it's
But you also
like,
got to think like we were 18, 17 years old, but I mean, in our life was pretty much planned for us, and it was sometimes we had time, but when you doing sports like that, like we over here,
no,
we kind of. For me, I was like, I'm gonna go get in this bed. Like I'm not. You just don't think
no.
about trying to be like, oh, okay, let me go make sure I got X amount of volunteer hours, or try to go get a job because even in the summertime, we had summer
We got
workout.
workouts. We got workouts. Like, we literally had like
No
no,
time.
like really no time. Like you didn't really have no time. So, and I don't know if I don't know if anybody on our team like had a job. I don't like maybe I
I
don't
didn't
even
get a
think
job
so.
until my last year summer before
Yeah,
I
yeah,
graduated. I
yeah.
guess.
Same,
But
same.
yeah, so I didn't,
Yeah,
and
no, that's crazy. Yeah.
I just went, literally just went. And the only reason why I got a job is because Jabari was working at like Regions, so so he
Yeah,
knew
you put
somebody.
you on.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
knew somebody. So I was over there bank telling for a little bit and did something else, but I had a whole accounting degree, so it was like I still don't
that's
have.
it's a huge man. It's so crazy like that. Just it's like night and day. It's like night and day. So
It's night and day.
you know,
So what kind of steps? So like when you first got out of college, um, like walk us through that. Like what did you get hired somewhere here? Like did you
okay,
just like test this out? I don't
no,
want to do this. I don't like this. How did
yes.
that go for you?
I was just applying to jobs. Like I was just applying anywhere just because like I just needed some money in my pocket.
Yeah,
So I would say probably I really didn't get okay, so I graduated in 2012. So I really didn't start get a job until like 2014. Like I was just like helping out like basketball coaches and stuff like that.
yeah,
But that nobody hired me on like full time or anything like that. So I was just doing that, like refereeing, because like some of my coaches who like I played with when I was a little kid, they still, refereeing and stuff like that. So they would
Yeah.
like, throw me games here and there. But I mean, I was just applying to jobs, just left and right. And then I finally ended up like getting a pretty decent job, like at an airline for a while. But it was just like I said, I just basically just had to just apply and just hopefully somebody will call me back. I'm applying to all types of jobs, like it could be retail, trucking, all types of stuff, but everybody's just saying the same thing, like you don't really
Yeah.
got no experience.
Experience.
So I just basically just had to keep going until somebody was like, all right, I'll give you a chance.
Gotcha.
And then just over the years, like over the course, since I've been working, I would say probably like the end, like my late 20s. That's when I decided, like, okay, like I really need to like get serious about life,
Yeah.
about working and stuff like that. So then that's when I had went back to school and got my master's um, last year. Oh, this year. What years? Yeah, this year.
You in 24.
And so
What
now
did you
it's
get your
like
master's in? What did you get your master's in?
business administration.
Okay. Did you go back to Arkansas State or
So
what you do?
no, I was online at University of Phoenix.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I had so I started, and it was really, really short program too. I mean, I started last year in like April, I think, either March or April,
Yeah.
and then I finished in June of this year.
Okay.
So I mean, it was pretty short, but as far as job, I mean, and I did that because, like I said, a couple years ago, it was the same thing. Like I was working and everything like that, but
Yeah.
I just knew like I needed more. I'm like,
Right.
I just still needed more. Still only had like one or two jobs under my belt and stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, like this ain't gonna work.
And so
Um,
going back to like college and all that, but how do you think why you think it's so hard to transition? Like, what's your opinion about like transitioning from being an athlete, just an athlete in general, not just basketball, just an athlete in general, into the real world? I'm just curious, like, what you think that why that transition is kind of
um,
tough for people?
I mean, as far as just like into like adulthood, I feel like basketball, just sports in general, like will really take you far. Like just mentally, like your work ethic, just how you carry yourself, how you treat others, how you can talk, your vocabulary. So I mean, I think that because in collegiate sports, like we got to do all these speeches and we got to talk to all of these fans and boosters, and so it like prepared us for a lot of the stuff in the real world, as far as like, okay, when I go do an interview, like I know how to conduct myself, I know how to talk, I know I got to be on time because it's a consequence for everything. So I do feel like it, like basketball prepared me a lot, but like just for a lot of things in life, but
Yeah.
not just working. No, it's
Yeah.
just no.
And honestly though, Megan, because I've been around other like other programs, well, like two other programs,
Mhm.
but I, and we got jokes about Coach B, but he did do one thing he did do right. It's like he did make sure we were in people like talking to the boosters in the community.
Yeah,
Not every
yeah,
program, even in the SEC level, they make them do that. So it's just
yeah.
basketball, 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 and there's not any practice on those other skills. And I feel like he kind of did. And us being a mid major, and I've gone to we in College Station, so I'm going to the Texas A&M camp, and it's just so different. I'm just like the
Yeah.
girls wasn't required to go to camp. I said Coach B would have been like, you got
You
class.
go on and see you. Like,
Listen,
oh,
you like you in class at 8. Okay, well, as soon as class over, you need to be out here on this doing something at camp. Ain't no sitting around. Ain't no doing that.
nah,
Make
none of
sure we
that.
at. I hated going to the what was those booster club meeting things. Oh, I
Man,
hated it. But
always something to go
it
to,
was
always.
always something, and I'm just like,
But it did. I will say it did like help us out.
it
And
did.
even like just playing in front of like thousands of people, like that's
We had a
a
good
lot of
fan
people.
base.
Yeah, yes. So I will say, basketball really is a lot, not just basketball, I mean just sports in general. Like
Yeah.
it's some very valuable life lessons, you know what I'm saying? Very, very valuable. So
So
I
what are
do
some of the
appreciate
stuff
that.
what's some of the stuff that you learned by playing basketball all your life, pretty much. How do you how does that, what do you see in, like, whatever, so what do you do today? Let me go backtrack. So what are you doing today?
As far as working,
Yeah. So what position
uh,
you got?
right now, so I'm a manager at Target
Okay.
right now. So I would say, like, as far as basketball,
You
like how
managing
they
people and everything.
right.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like versus I'm like the captain basically. You know, like
Okay.
we all doing the same thing, but it's just like I'm kind of like the captain. Like so it's like 30, it's me, I just one other person, me and it's two of us, two managers in our department. We're in the fulfillment department. So everybody's doing all these online orders. Yeah, come on now. Come on. Nah,
It's Christmas time.
for
Y'all over there
real.
working hard.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just, you know, just how I want, like how I treat people, how I talk to people. You know, like just basically like like I said, I'm like the captain, so I'm always like just looking out for everybody, making sure like everybody on point. If you need anything, like I'm here. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah, basketball it really it helped with that.
Yeah, and it is direct because
Yeah,
we
but they be calling me captain and all of this, and I'll be like, what? Like
no,
so it
it makes like,
I don't know. Yeah.
because you
I just
gotta
try to
think
lead.
about
I
it.
just try to lead them.
Yeah, just leading in and people, you just gotta, and then I don't think until like, after you leave a sport, you be like, oh, dang, that does apply here, and
Yeah, yeah.
we assume a lot
Just
of
the way you
stuff.
look at stuff, you know, you just look at stuff different. Like
Yeah.
you know, you used to like, okay, I'm planning ahead. Like I know, like okay, we expecting this today. This who I know I got on my team today. So like I just got to make adjustments. You know, it's just kind of like a game. Okay, like I know this who I got on the court. This is who. Okay, we playing this defense, this offense. Like you know, so it's
And
just
just
so I
and
will
just knowing
say,
your personnel and knowing how to
yeah,
use us, like we know not to, throw the ball to this person in this situation because we
exactly,
know they gonna
exactly,
probably turn it over. So it's
yep,
just knowing your personnel, and it's weird. Like, I mean, obviously, like your personnel, but that applies to like anything, not even just work. And so, like,
yeah,
even with your own family, you just gotta know your
yeah,
personnel. You gotta know how to approach this person if they get offended or not get offended. Like, just
yeah,
figure that out because I feel like when we first got to college, like we come from all different walks of life, and
yeah,
we think the way we grew up is the norm. And it's like this
exactly,
person may grow up a different way, it might have this, like, so we just
yep.
assume, you're like, oh dang, no, that is like that person.
Yeah, you gotta be able to adjust. You know, you gotta be able to adjust. You gotta be able to think quickly on your feet. You know, just basically like all stuff that we, you know, learned in sports and stuff like that. You know, you gotta just be able to react quick. You gotta, you know. So I use all of those things, and most of the time it's like unconscious. You know, just because I've been doing it for decades
So
now, which
long.
is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
So
crazy.
it's just like you know, but
So what kind
uh,
of challenges, like when you first left college, what kind of challenges did you face as far as just making that transition? Like what, like a few challenges that you may have faced during that time?
um, like I said, one just looking for like a because I felt like, all right, you know, I just got out of college, like, you
Yeah.
know, I got a degree, like, I should get a job.
Right.
So that's, you know, one thing, like, just having to just constant. I won't necessarily, I mean, maybe get discouraged, you know, because there's so many, everybody telling you no, everybody like telling you
Right.
no. So I would say that, and just also like if you don't have, which myself, like a huge support system, you know, so that's another challenge too, because it's like when you steady getting told no or turned down, like who you ask, who do you know, where do you go, who do you ask? So
Right.
it's just like you know, different things like that. It's like you just got to learn, like you know, how to maneuver and things like that because it's not always going to be somebody there to help you and guide you. So you know, I just had to learn. I just had to learn, you know, just how to maneuver through life, basically.
And so like for somebody watching, and they about to get out of college or whatever, like like, because I feel like sometimes we don't give like practical like advice or stuff.
Hmm.
So like, what tools did you figure out along the way? Like, what kind of tools or things that helped you since you didn't have a support system, and maybe you didn't have a big support system. The next person, there was no, like, for me, there was no going back home. Like, I gotta go figure this out. Like, I gotta go do it. So what kind of like
I
tools?
mean, mainly like for me, like what helped me is just like I just had to isolate myself basically and just figure out what can I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of journaling, a lot of meditating, and then just basically like see what came to me at that point. You know, so that's like I said. I mean, I've read probably 30 books over the past year. 2 years. So it's like for me, I just had to like basically go inside of myself, just figure out like how you gonna figure this out because I don't really have a lot of I ain't got nobody to ask, so it was just like you just got to figure it out. But I would say like if you're in college, just keep going, don't give up. It's gonna be hard. It is like it's life. It's gonna be hard, but if you just keep going, it does get better. You know what I'm saying? I will say it does. You're gonna have to go through the storm, to get to a lot of places, and the storm gonna come different times of life. It might come more than once, twice, but as long as you just keep going and you try your best, like and you everything, it will work out. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's what
been
I would
days
say.
where I didn't, you can like I love basketball, but it was days I did not want to show up.
Yeah,
You
yep.
still gotta show
But
up,
you
and that's
just
just
still
tough. I
go,
feel like
like
we hear that a lot. Like for me, and I'm just thinking about just for myself. Honestly, just people say just keep going. Sometimes
yeah.
they,
No, for
the
real.
the
Sometimes
words
it's like,
don't make no
listen.
difference.
None at all. None at all. That's why, like for me, because I will say, like over the years, like people I have met people and they like, oh, it'll get better, keep going. But like you're saying, but when you in it, it's just like you don't see that. You don't see it. You just gotta keep going though because it don't last. It won't last forever. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So you do like even when you think like I don't even know how I'm gonna buy a cup of water. Get some water today. Like,
right.
you just gotta keep going. It's gonna get better though. So I
Yeah.
would say just don't give up. Just don't give up.
Just don't give up. Listen, when you in it though, it's like
When you
what?
in it, you can't see no way out.
It's
You
like,
can't see no way
my
out.
gosh. I'll be like, goodness, this can't be real life.
Yeah.
That
So
did
that's
not
why I
take
say
me.
for me, like just like reading, like meditating, like different things like that, like yoga, like it's just a lot of things, just to help like keep your spirits high and just get you through, like just get you
Yeah,
through tough times. So
yeah.
but
That's tough. It's tough. It
yeah.
get tough. It's tough. Adulting is for sure. And then
No,
I
it
got two. I got two kids. This is adulting and two kids. Is the trenches. Like, it's ghetto.
no, that's not like
It is
but you hanging in there.
absolutely.
You hanging in there.
It's
So
absolutely ghetto.
you still pushing though.
It's just you're right. You gotta learn as you go. And then some stuff you just do different. I've also, as an
Mhm.
adult, you just even with your own family, all right. It's just like I've learned to just do what I want to do. I don't need
Yeah,
to keep up this even like a tradition or this, but like I'm gonna do
yeah,
what I want to do
yeah,
respectfully.
yeah,
It may have worked for y'all when y'all were growing up. This is what works
yeah.
for this is what's working
Yeah.
over here.
That's very important. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
very important. Like doing what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like you the one that's gonna feel, some type of way. So if
right.
you just be like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing this because such and such said, you the one that's gonna be mad and hurting and sad in the end. So if that's not what's best for you, then yeah, you always do what's best for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's good. So that's something that's like it's that trend. I feel like also I don't know. I just when I first started like this, like when we were in college, I was like, okay, that transition is tough. I don't think there was a lot of resources, but then as time went on,
mhm,
I'm like, even though they have like NIL stuff, but that's different. I'm just like, people still are having it. Like it's so wild to me that people in this time are still struggling with that transition, and I don't
yeah,
know if it's because like our days are planned for us for the most part. They tell
mhm,
us where to go, when to go, where when to eat, how, like, everything is scheduled
yeah,
for us,
yep,
and our life is kind of, and then you got to go out and just kind of like not everything, but replicate that in a sense. Because even the
yep,
most thing that I've struggled with after college was basically like I had nobody to tell me I needed to go work out anymore. Like going to play
yeah.
basketball that's easy, but
That's easy.
that's easy. Nobody. I hated going to weights. Like like what like and staying in
Yeah,
shape. Like there's
yeah,
nobody to be like, or nobody even to show
yep,
up. Like so, there's
yep,
nobody waiting on me to come to the gym and work out.
Yep, it's all on you at that point. It's all on
And I
you.
think we just like that's probably the hardest one of the hardest things is like doing that part, just staying in a regimen of just trying to stay a little bit in shape. And like I'm not finna be out here Olympic lifting at all, but just kind of staying in
And
shape and doing that stuff.
and I would say for me, one of the things that like I still like you saying, like we just so used to just being told you got to do this, and that at a certain time. So it's like just everything, like a lot of time we had 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. workouts. Like
Yeah,
so, I every day still like I be up at like 4 a.m. every day.
yeah,
Like it's
that ain't my
crazy.
life.
Like just because I'm just used
Yeah,
to
some
certain
things you
stuff.
just programmed to do, and like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just you just gotta yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I always had like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. classes at A
yeah,
State. So it's just like I just be up 4 or 5 a.m. every day. So it's just a lot of things, like I don't call off work, I don't miss work, I don't, what I'm saying? Because in basketball you can't do that stuff. If you late, you
you
miss the whole
cannot
team running.
the
The
wrong
whole
listen.
team running.
And we gonna be mad
Like,
at you because you ain't made us run.
so
But even if
yeah,
you was
so
sick or you couldn't practice, you still was at practice. Like there was
you
no
still gotta go.
it ain't I'm sitting in the bed, I'm sick. It's like you gonna be sick on the sideline watching practice.
Yeah. I know,
You
and
still have to
it's just
show
like
up.
it's crazy, and it's just instilled in me. You know what I'm saying? Because I go to work and people think like I'm working hard or I'm doing this, and I'm like, but I'm not though. Like this is just my work ethic. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? This is just
Yes.
how I work. It don't matter if I was working here, it don't matter where I'm working at. Like this is just my work ethic. This is just you know what I'm saying, what I do, and I don't even feel like I'm trying hard or anything like that.
Right.
It's just we just so accustomed to working hard. We
Working
just
hard.
had to do that for so
Yeah,
long.
so we go
So
above and be like you go above. It's
yeah,
like, hey, you doing that? And it's
unconsciously,
like
it's
this
just
is normal. Like, what are y'all doing?
yeah,
And so
yeah, yeah.
that is because I've been in environments where there's like, dang, like, and I'm atypical anyway, but like, it's
Mhm.
just I could get a task done. Like, we gonna get this
That's
task
it.
done. We gonna get it done. And I'm,
Yep.
from me, my attitude, like, I'll worry about your feelings later, but we gonna get
Later
this
on,
shit.
look, we got to get this done for
We got to
real.
get this
You'll yell at
done.
somebody in a minute. Hey, miss
Like,
the
bro,
ball.
we as a team, I'm gonna need you to pull your weight. I'm gonna need you to pull your weight. But
Yeah.
like being in corporate America is a challenge for me though, honestly, because and I'm not at the current moment, but it's just like people are like I was like y'all are just not team players. Like even though I was
Oh my
for sure I would
God.
yell at
Yes.
you, but like we were competitive. Even though I yelled at you on the court, I wasn't mad at you after. You'd be like, "Can you take me somewhere?" For sure, I was just
Yeah.
competitive on the court. Like it was
On the
nothing
court.
personal. It was nothing personal.
Yeah.
Like I don't hate your guts after practice. Like
Yeah.
if we on the opposite team, I hate your guts right now. But
That's it.
after it, and then like so that's tough, and then like people just don't know how to work as a team. And I'm saying you'll
Yeah.
get much further if you work as a team, and just people just are lazy, like low key just
Oh
lazy.
my, that's a huge challenge. Like, if you work with people that's lazy or just don't work, don't work like you, because it's like I'm used to just being around the best of the best people,
Right,
no matter which part of the country you from the best part where you from,
right,
what I'm saying? So it's a huge adjustment. It's a huge adjustment when you got to work with people that's not on that same level. So, and that is a challenge. That's something that is a challenge for me, like every day at work,
yeah. And I found
every day. So
myself even find myself. I was talking in conversation. I'm like, even as employers, right? Like, if I care about something more than you do, that also threw me. Like, it's not my
yes,
business, but I'm caring more than you, and it's your business.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I can't. I can't do
Yeah,
that.
and that's just crazy, because it's like if you sign up to do it, just you signed up to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I don't care if I don't care if I'm finna cut your grass. I'm gonna cut it to the best of my ability, just
Right,
because this is just what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So,
It's
but yeah, that is a challenge. That is a
it's
challenge.
it's wild, and I'm just like, when you especially when you signed up for something like, and I found out as
Yeah,
an adult, now just as an adult, that I've been around different types of people, and they sign up for something, and it is like, oh well, I'm just like, then what you sign up for then for? Like
exactly.
if you didn't
Yeah,
know you had the
exactly.
capacity for it, and I found it as an adult, I mean, it's like it grinds my gears. People like the idea of something until it's time
Yes,
to do it. Like you might
yes.
like the idea of this, but now you got to actually do the work. And then
You
it's like,
gotta actually
oh
do
shoot,
it.
I didn't. This is grasping. I didn't realize it was gonna require all that. I'd be like,
No,
oh
seriously,
my
seriously.
gosh.
Somebody, I heard somebody say that they applied for the job, they got the
Yeah.
job, and then they got on when their name was on the schedule. Said that they didn't think they was gonna have to actually work that whole like all the actual hours, all of those, the whole 8 hour shift. I'm like, what did you think it was then? Like, what did
Did
you
she?
like? I didn't think I
Did
was
the
gonna have to
position
stay
say
and work
part time?
the whole time. I'm like, man, these
Wow.
people crazy.
Now, was the position part time? It didn't say part time on
No,
them.
not at all, not at all. It's just,
Yeah, it's
it's just crazy. It's
and just
crazy.
navigating life. You just realize like, and I'm just like, maybe we were so focused like on basketball, I just didn't realize as an adult, now that I've gotten older, and just not even just in the work environment, just people in general, even with friendships. I
Yeah.
would have a conversation with people in just friendships. It's just like to the
Mhm.
point like if it's not reciprocated, like if I'm doing all the whatever in a friendship and you're not reciprocating, like bro, what are we doing?
Yeah. What we doing?
What are we doing? Like it don't matter what relationship you're in. If it's one sided, like what are we doing? So now that you've gone through, the transition, what are some things that basketball could have taught you, not taught you, or just living life to this point in your career, your life? What are some things that either you wish you knew, or what are some things that transition from basketball has taught you?
I would say, um, like the things that basketball has taught me now in life is mainly show up on time. Like
Yeah,
attendance matters. It does matter. Like whether people they will argue up and down, it doesn't, but it does. Like attendance. How you carry yourself, how you treat other people, how you talk to other people. Um, but I would say, I mean, I guess it's basketball, but I would say the only things I wish that I would have learned was just like the transition after. But
yeah,
like I said, that's like two separate things though.
right.
Basketball is just strictly basketball, but um that's what I just wish like it's, maybe they would incorporate it that like, okay, when you get ready to leave, like this is some of the things like you can work on or work towards. So I would say that I wish that that was probably something that they would have taught us like, before we graduated, like maybe have
Yeah,
I don't even know, some type of course or workshop, something just as
yeah,
like,
yeah. I was about to
that
ask
would
you a
have helped. That
question.
would have helped.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the question. Like, what do you think schools can put? And I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in college no more. But if they have some resources out there, but what kind of things? I was gonna ask you, like, what kind of things you think would help, like, for like a senior, maybe a class, maybe I mean, I don't know, something to put in place to take your
Yeah,
last
like yeah,
semester or
some
something like
definitely
that.
something in place though. Like definitely something in place. Like whether that's like I said, like a more probably like something more than a one time thing. Like you something like maybe it's something like an elective. It could be an elective. Like I don't really know, but that's something that they should some kind of way incorporate. And they might do it now. I don't like you said. I'm not. I don't know how they
Like
operate now,
something,
but.
yeah, like something at each
It's
phase.
kind of like you just being thrown out there. It's just like you just like, all right, figure it out. But
Yeah, because even though now
you
that I
know,
think back, like even though like they taught us how to do kind of like a resume in I guess freshman
barely.
year, but they don't really tell you like exactly what to like how is this going to really translate in the real world? How is it that like especially for athletes like they didn't tell us like they don't care that you was an athlete. Nobody cares that you're an athlete.
No.
Nobody cares. Who cares?
Not at
Nobody.
all.
And so they don't tell us like you probably should. I mean, yeah, it's some type of. I don't know what that looks like, but they may have better resources
Yeah.
now. I know. Hell, and obviously having relationships in with those boosters because
Hmm.
maybe one day that booster can give you a job or whatever, whatever.
Yep.
So just.
Yeah.
And I think again, I think Coach B did a good job, even though we hate it sometimes. For me, I just hate it sometimes.
No, for real.
Talking and walking on the board mile with them folks, but
Yeah.
hey, that's it was needed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that would be especially, and then and they probably like the counselors or whoever probably looking at us like, well, they not coming to ask us, like, but we probably don't know. Well, I don't know what to ask, so
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying. So I kind of feel like just some type of like leadership, somebody who can give them direction or guidance. Like, it might not know, it's not going to be for everybody, but something like we should at least be able to take something here, at
Right.
least so I can know, like, just what's my next step? What is the first step?
Yeah.
So like,
Even
what
if we
is the
not
first step?
listening, because they're like, well, y'all ain't trying to listen. There's some people that may listen. It probably might go
Hmm.
out in one ear and out of other for others. Some for the majority, but it's gonna be a few that that will listen and be like, okay, yeah, they don't care that I
Yeah,
was this, that, or other, this athlete, blah blah blah. Um,
yeah.
even for like when people go play professional overseas, when you come back, they don't care that you was a professional basketball player
Do not
overseas.
care.
You at the
They
end of the
don't
day, you
care.
still ain't got no work experience.
Yeah, for real. That is the crazy part, man. So
Yeah.
that bridge right there. I don't even know. That's just it's just
It's a gap for sure, and I didn't think, and
for
honestly, I just still
sure.
didn't think it was still a gap because they're like, we've been out of college for some time now. I'm like, surely that's still not, but apparently it is still a gap there. And so like, okay, so the next question is not that not like a regret or anything like that, but what is something that you probably would have took advantage of more or did different throughout your college career that you like, man, I should have, took more time
Um,
fostering
I
a
mean, I would have
whatever,
just.
whatever.
I honestly, I would have just taken school serious.
Okay. Yeah, hey, that's
So
honest.
I would have just like, because like I said, like I never I was never a fan of school at like ever.
Yeah.
To like
Yeah.
no matter what grade it was, like I just
Same.
it's just I just wasn't. So I mean, that is my only regret. So that's like I told you a while ago. Like I got my master's this summer. So one of my goals was to actually try, like to at least actually like actually try. So, and
Yeah.
I got a 3.6. So I figured like I got a 3.6 GPA. So I figured if I would have did this in undergrad, like what I'm saying. So it's just
Right.
like I showed up to classes and stuff like that, but I wish that I actually would have applied myself.
Gotcha.
Since I had to go anyway, my grandma said
Right.
I had to
Right.
go anyway. I kind of wish that I would have actually applied myself a little better.
Yeah.
That's about it. I mean, other than that, like I enjoyed my time at A State. It was
Yeah.
a lot different from here in St. Louis, but it was like I really did enjoy my time there. I learned a lot,
Yeah.
just about one, just being on my own for the first time. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Two, being in a much smaller place than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it was like I don't have any regrets about necessarily going, but like I just wish I would have just handled it a little better, took some, made better decisions and things like that. So, but that also goes back to like, just having people support system guidance, somebody, like which I mean we had, coaches and things like that, but that was just for basketball. Like,
Yeah.
like what about
But
my regular
finding that
life?
comfortability, yeah, and then it's a certain way, like finding that comfortability to share other stuff is also a thing too. Like
Yeah.
you might not feel comfortable
Hmm.
sharing something with your
Right, with
assistant
your coach
coach.
or
Yeah, they
so
might be going next year. They might not have a job or whatever that looks like.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that is, I get that part. And so what's kind of some to wrap up a little bit? So what kind of some advice would you give a kid that's about to graduate? He's an athlete. What kind of advice would you give them that you might not have gotten when you graduated?
Okay. I would say do your research as far as like, especially if you, majoring in like, whatever it is that
Yeah,
I would say do your research, figure out like where you can work at, figure out like, okay, with this degree, I can work here,
yeah,
and then just maybe start like narrowing down your options, like different jobs, different places that you could work at.
yeah.
Try to get like a mentor, like somebody who can kind of guide you or,
Hmm.
help you. But I would just say I mean, just as many outlets as possible, like, reach out, whether that's calling back to your school,
Yeah.
accounts. Like I went here for 4 years, how many years you went there. So like,
Yeah.
I should still be able to help me. But I would just say, speak up, like don't just like me, for example, like, like I said, it could have probably went both ways. Probably, I'm sure it's not all of them, just not having support system or
Right.
just people like that, because I could have, spoke up and stuff too. But so I say, don't be scared to speak up, but
Mm-hmm.
just weigh your options, see what all you can, like, see what jobs are out there for you. See, you might venture out into something else. But I would just say, don't get discouraged. Just keep looking, keep your options open, and don't be afraid to ask for help because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's always and it's always somebody who went through the same thing, going through the same thing. So,
Yeah. That's big.
just don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that's big. I feel like yeah, that's a big one because
Yeah,
for me anyway, because I like you, because when you ask for help, it makes it like you don't like you don't
but you
know,
don't know.
but
Yep.
you be like, I don't want them to know, I don't know. So like, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you don't know, and there's nothing embarrassing about asking for help. And and what
Yeah.
I found out is like people are willing to help.
That's the thing. Yep.
That's
A
the
lot of
yeah.
people don't mind helping.
Yeah,
A
and
lot of people
I
do
had it
not
in my
mind.
mind like I probably get on their nerves. They probably ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
help me
Yep.
no way. And I didn't tell myself a whole story that wasn't
Made up
even
a whole scenario.
a whole
Made up a whole
scenario that
scenario.
ain't even true. And it's just like, and then obviously there are people you run into, but that's not the majority. Like it's people out here
Yeah.
that don't really want to help, but then it's people that do actually do want to
Yeah.
help you, genuinely want to help you. Because I
Genuinely
am
want to
about
help
like
as well.
I talk about that all the time. Like me and Barbie talking about that. I'm like I like when I ask for help, I like genuinely want you like you. I want you to genuinely want to help. I don't want you to help because
Mhm.
you can get something out of it, or
Yeah.
like and that's where I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like sometimes that's why I probably got myself caught up. Cause I'm like, are they? What's? I'm trying to figure out their motives, and I'm like,
Right.
and
Right.
so
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
because people, I'm like, people just be wanting something to get something back. I'm like, bro, if I'm going, and I'm that same way. Like, if I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you because I just want to help you, not because,
I'm gonna help you if I want to.
or I'm call
Yep.
you,
I don't
or
do
I'm gonna hold
nothing
it
in
over your
return.
head like, oh, remember I helped you do this. Like at
Yeah.
that point, don't you worry about it. Never mind. It's gonna
So
be
don't
good.
worry about it. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about
It's
it.
I figured out. I'll even, hey, that's fine.
I'll
Whatever.
figure it out.
So,
Don't worry about
and
it.
that's how I'm just like, the help because you want to help. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
the end goal is to make you, especially if you, yeah, just help you. Because I feel like even in basketball, like, as crazy as it sounds, like, you got to help because the end goal is to win a basketball game. So if I don't
Exactly.
get to help and they score, even though I might thought you was lazy and playing defense, I still got to help
I mean, yo, I still gotta do it.
because at the end of the
So
day, they just ain't scoring you. That's the scoreboard is a state versus whoever. It ain't.
that's whoever. So it's on all of us. We all just got scored on.
We
So,
all just got scored out. And I be
yeah.
telling these kids, I'm like, bro, I'm like, you being a bad teammate. Yeah, the one little kid's like, I don't want to go in. I'm like, for why? He's like, because I just
You
don't.
wanna play?
I say no, like they just didn't want to play, and I'm just like, dude is out here tired. I said he's tired. I said it's not even about you. I said it's just you're being a bad teammate because
Yeah.
they're out there dog tired and they want to come out, but I can't get them out because you don't want to go in. I said
And
at
you
that
got
point,
fresh leg.
and I'm like, at that point you're being a terrible teammate. Like you're
Yeah.
being terrible.
Yeah.
And so and
Yeah.
that's just like you gotta it's a team
It's
effort.
a team.
It's a
Yep, it's a
team.
team. That's why it's 5 of us out here at one time.
Yeah,
Clearly.
in life for real,
So,
honestly, and I didn't want to believe it because I'm like over here, I can do it by myself, but like life is a team sport too. It just depends on like
mhm.
who you got on your team. On it, like
Yeah, you gotta have the right people on your team. You gotta have the
yep,
right people, and it might take you a while to find those
figure,
people, but
yeah,
but you gotta, yeah. As long as, like I said, you got them right people on your team in your corner, like
yep,
you will be good. And just,
yeah,
like if you fresh out of college or you about to get out, just don't get discouraged. Just don't get discouraged if you don't get your dream job right away or, anything like that. But,
yeah,
just, always, but hey, keep calling them people, keep calling them, get some contacts, reach out for help. But, just keep going. Like I said, it does get better.
yeah,
It does get better later on.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That's good. And so to close up, to wrap it up, one last question. What is something that like whoever's listening to this, it doesn't matter who it is, what is one thing that you want to make sure that they heard that you were trying to portray during our whole conversation? Like what's one thing that like if they don't hear nothing else, I want them to hear this.
if you don't hear anything else, do not give up.
There you go.
That's what I want you to do. It don't matter how hard things are. You don't see an end, but just know that the storm it don't last forever. It does not. It might be hard for 3 months, 4 months, 3 years, 4 years. But And it's hard, it gets hard to even find that strength and stuff like that. But that's why you got to like just do certain stuff to keep your spirits high. Just figure out like, what makes you happy. You got to figure out what makes you happy and how you going to be able to get through and cope with certain things. But just like I said, just if you work hard and just don't give up, like better days are going to come. Not just work related, just life related, just everything. Just don't give up.
Don't
So
give up. All right. Well, that's game, Meg. And
that's it.
thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That was good.
Thanks for having me.
If I'ma start it, I'ma finish it. I'ma show all of you folk with the businesses. Walk